The Drive is brought to you on demand by Assignar Construction Operations Software. Visit keepbuilding.com for a free demonstration and see how much your business can save.
Leading off with the big story of the day, Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Tyler Columbus and T-Mac.
Now Roethlisberger's going to air it out, and it's caught in stride. Deontay Johnson, a 50-yard touchdown strike. Pressure on the edge. Roethlisberger, the ball's loose. On the ground, it's picked up by Denver. Alexander Johnson returns it inside the 30. Four-man rush, Roethlisberger. Pitch and catch, Chase Claypool. Claypool across the 50. Claypool stays in bounds. And all the way down into the red zone before Miller shoves him out. They hand it off. Harris up top. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Bridgewater. He's got him. Touchdown. Kendall hit Bridgewater. He's going to air this thing out. He's got him. Touchdown. Diving catch, Cortland Sutton. And this is the ball game. And the Broncos are perfect 3 of 3 on fourth down. 8 of 8 on fourth down this season. All coming down to this. Bridgewater. Intercepted. James Pierre picked it. And Pittsburgh is going to win it.
And they did. The Broncos fall to 3-2. The Raiders are in their own death spiral with issues on the field and off the field. We'll dig into them as we get going in the week. And that's set up to be a huge game. Meanwhile, you have the Chargers who, oh my God. Hello with the Chargers. What a game that was against the Browns. And the Chiefs are, wow.
Yeah.
They're either having some unbelievable problems or the Buffalo Bills are clearly the best team in the NFL. Or maybe it's a combination of both, but that was something. They got their hats handed to them at home by the Buffalo Bills.
Well, a little optimism there, I guess. Chiefs are definitely not themselves, that's for sure.
Meanwhile, let's talk about the quarterback play. Let's talk about the final couple plays there. Talk to me about Teddy and what you saw. And let's erase everything else because at the end of the day, you did have a chance to be a 2-point conversion from tying the game. No matter what else was going on, you did have that chance.
Yeah.
So what did you see in the final 4 plays?
Well, let's back up just a little bit before we get to the final 4 plays because you got to set the stage for who Teddy Bridgewater is and what were your expectations for him. I see people talking about Teddy like they're disappointed right now, and I'm like, what were your expectations? You know, Teddy was 28 of 36, okay? He completed, hold on, I messed that up. He was 24 of 38. That's what he was, okay? He had 2 touchdowns. He had 1 interception that came at the very end there. He threw for 288 yards. Was that a bad game by Teddy Bridgewater? Absolutely not. It was not like a fantastic game. He didn't do anything that was going to win the game for you, but it was a very Teddy Bridgewater type of game. You know, during the first 3 weeks of the season, I was sitting here telling everybody, look, relax on Teddy just a little bit. He's going to fall back to planet Earth. At some point, he's going to come back to who the mean is for Teddy Bridgewater, and that's a good quarterback. That's a top 16, top 14 type of QB, but he won't play like a top 5 quarterback all year long. The stats in this game would say it was a respectable game, mostly because of the second half. The second half, he started to turn it on. First half, it was boring. It was ugly. We couldn't do anything. Second half, he turns it on. I will say that we got down there in the end zone, and it was really frustrating. It was flat out inexcusable that with the game on the line, your best option was to throw a fade route to Deontay Spencer.
Okay, break that play down. Why? What happened there?
Well, what are we doing? Seriously, what are we doing? Why in the world would we think that that's the best play available to us with the game on the line? How tall is Deontay Spencer, D-Mac?
Oh, he's the shortest guy on the team. I see eye to eye with him, which is ridiculous. I mean, 5'8", 5'9", maybe.
What are we talking about? A fade is not an easy route for anybody, but you throw it to the 6'5" guys. So he's 5'9".
Generous. When don't you wear shoes? But go ahead.
D-Mac was hoping. He was just hoping, right?
It's close enough.
You throw that ball to Cortland Sutton. You throw that ball to Noah Fant. You throw that ball to a guy that you just say, I'm going to put it up in there. I'm going to put it in a spot where only you can catch it. It's a very low percentage pass if you throw it to anybody that is not a jump ball specialist. And we threw a very, very difficult ball to one of the shortest wide receivers on the team. And it was just frustrating. Like, game on the line, that's what you go with. I can't explain it. So that was frustrating. And I don't know if that was a play call. I don't know if that was something that Teddy audibled into. I don't know why Teddy looked at that like that was his best available option on that play. But I don't like the play call, and I don't like the choice by Teddy Bridgewater to throw the ball to Deontay Spencer with the game on the line.
Seemed insane.
Absolutely, it seemed insane.
I mean, at the end of the day, you do have independent thought as a quarterback. I got to put that on Teddy. I mean, Well, it's twofold, really. I mean, that's on the play call, too. I mean, whoever called that play, it was designed to have a fade that was thrown to Deontay Spencer. I feel you. And why Deontay Spencer was even on the field instead of Tyree Cleveland, who was active for that game and is like 6'3", is beyond me. I mean, I would put tall guys out there and give it a shot.
Or put Cortland in that situation.
Well, Cortland was on the field. He was off to the other side.
Put him in the fade situation.
He was sort of fading to the other side. Fant was right in the middle. I mean, listen, I agree. It was a terrible play, like stunning. Like going back and watching it today, it's beyond description.
Final throw of the game, it's like, okay, whatever. I mean,
that was a terrible throw too.
Yeah, but it's like whatever. It really is. I mean, you have to try to make a play at that point. What options do you have available to you? It was a bad throw for sure. It was an interception. It goes in the stat book, but it's the final play of the game. It's whatever.
Okay. I mean, it was a really bad throw.
What should he have done, D-Mac?
Throw it to the pylon like they practice all the time.
That ball would have been out of bounds. He was on the sideline.
Give it a shot.
You can't put that ball any further out of bounds. I mean, the receiver was all the way to the sideline.
Well, in my opinion, you either put it up. First of all, I hated I wasn't a big fan of it from the get-go. I like that play to Kendall Hinton that you pulled off earlier in the game. I don't know.
It was wide open. And honestly, congratulations. Like, there was some good stuff that happened in the game. There were some positive notes. And in positive notes, seriously, shout out to Kendall Hinton. Like, in all seriousness, I want to congratulate that dude because not only did he go from a tough spot last year to playing QB, being out of position, but he made the team this year. He's contributed. He caught a touchdown. It was 4th and goal. It wasn't the toughest catch in the world. He was wide open, but dude, congratulations. Like, you just caught a touchdown in the NFL on 4th and goal. That's a cool moment.
Yeah, very cool. What about running the ball?
You could run the ball. There's a lot of stuff that you could have done. I mean,
kind of wide open.
My entire point here is pick your poison. Pick whatever the heck you want. Go through the Rolodex. Just spin it and find something. The last thing I'm calling is a fade route to Deontay Spencer with the game on the line.
I agree. It was a bad finish, man. I mean, Teddy, before he got to those 4 plays, he was 9 for 11. In his last 11 throws, he had 9 completions, and then those 4 plays. He had rallied them. He converted 3 4th downs, or, Tim Patrick, what a superhuman effort he made. And then Hinton on the sideline. I mean, we got some pretty extraordinary plays that happened on those 4th downs, but they did happen.
Tim Patrick, steady Eddie, man, just flat out shows up, gets himself 7 catches. You know what? Shout out to Cortland Sutton as well. He did have the 3rd down drop, which hurt a lot. That was a ball that he just never saw. It hit him right in the chest. He never saw it because Teddy threw it sidearmed and he went around the defender. Cortland never saw it. But outside of that, I mean, Cortland Sutton had 7 catches for 120 yards coming off of a Friday ankle injury.
Yeah. All right, you ready for the outrageous suggestion of the day?
Let's go.
Here we go, Mike Evans.
I think I know what we have in Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think that Drew Lock can and will be the guy, but I don't know for sure yet. Mm-hmm. And in a season in which George Payton comes in and you can tell his first season is one of kind of sitting back and reading the landscape, I'd prefer to go with the quarterback that potentially, probably not, but potentially has maybe a higher ceiling.
What is Mike talking about?
He's talking about playing Drew Lock.
Oh, no, I understood the premise of what he's talking about, but what is the guy talking about? He doesn't have the higher ceiling. Like, guys, can we give that up by now? Can we give up the fact that Teddy Bridgewater has a higher ceiling? His ceiling doesn't reach Teddy Bridgewater's floor. That's where we're at.
Potential doesn't?
We have not seen Drew Lock ever go out and play like Teddy Bridgewater has. Teddy's got 7 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. Okay? Well, our quarterback play is not the problem. Our quarterback play is not elite. It's not top 10. I'm not saying we're giving Teddy an extension, but I'm saying it is far and away the best option on this team. So even if we're talking about who would be, in theory, give you the best option to be the quarterback of the future, Drew Lock, it's over. He is not going to be the quarterback of the future. Teddy is actually, at this point, the only dude that, in theory, as low as it might be, the probability, he, in theory, still could be the quarterback of the future because he's the best option that you have.
Well, let me play some devil's advocate then. And I think I know where Mike's going. Broncos are terrible in the red zone. They're worse in the league in red zone. Teddy just makes his hay between the 20s, but can't really finish and can't produce on third down. A lot of these numbers are artificial, and the interceptions are simply a result of him not taking that many chances.
And now give me proof. Give me proof that Drew Lock would be different. Give me an example from last year where he was better in the red zone, where he converted in those situations.
Well, I'd have to go back and look at his third down percentage. I'm sure it wasn't that great.
I mean, my point is it's easy to say.
We're last in the NFL.
We've got issues, and we do. And I could come up with a lot of excuses. They are excuses. We've had the fumble from Albert Okwuegbunam down in the red zone. We had the fumble from Javonte Williams down in the red zone. Javonte Williams again in this game. He spiked the ball on the 2-yard line, got you backed up. Then he gave up a 12 or 15-yard sack right after that. Like that's 4 plays right there that I just told you that prevented you entirely from scoring down in the red zone. Is that Teddy Bridgewater's fault, or was that somebody else's fault?
Let me post this radical idea past you that I know will be shot down and ridiculed instantly. How's that for a setup? You have a short week against the Browns after this Raiders game. What if you just start and you tell Drew, we are prepping you, and you're going to start against the Browns. And we're going to get...
Why?
Because we are preparing if things go south, and we've lost 3 games in a row.
Dude, quarterback play is not the problem on this team. Plain and simple, it is not the problem.
Short week. Teddy's coming off a concussion still. I don't know.
He's not coming off a concussion. He just played.
What about at 3-3? You got somebody else that's, kind of ready to go, been preparing a little bit extra. You got a short week anyways. What's the harm?
There could be a point in time where Teddy Bridgewater plays himself out of a job. It's not after 7 touchdowns and 1 interception on the first 5 games of the year. That's not it.
Okay.
You're not even close to that point. Drew is not the future. Like that's what just needs to be understood right now. He's had his opportunity. He's been given that opportunity multiple times. He went out there. He did not seize the day, and he has never put together 5 straight games like Teddy has, even in losses in which Teddy played just steady Eddie football.
Just to check now, because they've lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
They've got the Raiders. Who knows? They got Cleveland, which is going to be a bear. Boy, we couldn't stop Pittsburgh's running game, who was the worst running team in the league. Do you see what the Browns are doing with the running game? Oh, my Lord.
I love it. I love watching them.
Holy cow. Hey, talk about a 2-headed monster they have going there with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They are something else. And by the way, it is interesting watching the Browns play football. Baker Mayfield is totally bought into how they're playing football. He's fitting in there like a glove. That was a crazy game they had. Really good team. So if you lose to the Raiders and you lose to the Browns, which seems like an impossible game, you've lost 4 games in a row with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
We're still with Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, I told you after the first 3 games that once you started out the season 3-0, it would take a 5-game slide. I didn't see that being realistic. It could. I mean, we've gotten to the point that a 5-game slide could happen in theory. So, all right, man. I mean, if you get, let's see, where's that schedule?
Oh, it's right here. Oh,
right.
We got 2 of them in here. Look at how good we are. Only took 6 weeks, but we got it. Good job, everybody.
All right, so, I mean, if you told me we lost to Vegas, we lost to Cleveland, we lost to Washington, then, yeah, that's about time that you would have to make a change. I mean, I don't think you're going to drop all 3 of those, but that's what I would consider it.
Adam Schefter, our ESPN NFL insider, joins us courtesy of Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Adam, first blush, and we'll get into other stuff in the NFL, but your thoughts about the Ben Roethlisberger not dead yet, as Monty Python might say.
Well, you kind of figured that with all the pressure on him and all the criticism of the Steelers, that they were going to come out and play the type of game that they did. And they played pretty well. And it worked out very well for them. And I'm not surprised that he would come back and play the way he did. Good day for Pittsburgh, bad day for Denver.
Adam, what's been your biggest surprise watching these Denver Broncos after the first 5 games of the year?
Well, they're probably right about where you would think they would be at this point in time, right? Like, they've won the games that they were supposed to win and haven't won the games they probably weren't supposed to win. And you'd like to see them win one of these games that they're not supposed to, come up and play very well. This Sunday, kind of a coin flip kind of game. And it's in Denver. It's going to be an emotional day. Mike Shanahan's going into the Ring of Fame. And so, you would think that in a situation like that they would rally, play well against Las Vegas. Las Vegas has the John Gruden issue right now, and who knows what kind of impact that has on a team, but I can't think it's no impact at all. I mean, that's a real issue that I think threatens to disrupt the locker room.
Yeah, what's going on there, Adam, in terms of what the league is doing with that situation?
The funny thing is, and we're going to talk about this on Monday Night Countdown quite a bit, everybody has the exact same question you do, D-Mac. What's the league doing about it? It's not the league's issue. For starters, John Gruden was an ESPN employee when he sent the email.
Okay.
And secondly, he works for Mark Davis, not the NFL.
Okay. All right.
So if there's any action that comes, it's going to come from Mark Davis, not the NFL. Like when Urban Meyer hired the assistant coach who had a racist past, it wasn't up to the NFL to go fire the guy because things turned up. It's up to Urban Meyer to get rid of him, and he did a day later. And so in this particular case, if anything were going to be done, and I don't think anything will be right now, then that's on Mark Davis. And by the way, if he was going to do something, don't you think he would have done it? Like, the more time that goes on, it's not. I don't think it's going to be like he's going to be more likely to do something unless there are other emails that surface. Now, yesterday during Sunday Countdown, Chris Mortensen reported that there were other emails. The NFL flagged about 7 different emails from John Gruden, one of which was a vulgar term to Roger Goodell that began with a C.
Yikes.
And so there were all sorts of emails from John Gruden that were flagged.
What's the support, or I guess lack thereof, been like from the players inside the building with the Raiders?
What's interesting is, look, first of all, I think everyone's got their own opinions, right? And after the game, some players spoke out. Some people supported John Gruden, and some people didn't comment. And I think that's pretty clear and representative. I reached out to one player, and black player, and he said, I went over to John, I gave him a hug. Now, I think that's a minority opinion, personally. I think that most players are turned off when they hear it, offended when they hear what he sent in an email, and don't really forgive him. But then again, you wonder, I don't know that any of them are that close to John anywhere it matters. And this is a job, and I think Randy Moss spoke very passionately on Sunday Countdown about this yesterday. I posted it on my Instagram account for anybody who wants to see. He was very thoughtful and articulate on this issue, expressed some really deep-seated emotion. And so I know that I had a team call me today, and they're like, what are the Raiders going to do about this? And I said, I don't think they're going to do anything. And they said that this issue is going to bring down that team this season.
Wow.
Now, we'll see whether it does or doesn't. I don't know that that's right or wrong, but some people think that.
I guess the NFL could put pressure on Mark Davis to do something, though, right? I guess. But,
yeah, sure. I mean, the league could. But again, as it was explained to me over the weekend and today, again, because I've gone to various, it's not a league, it's not an NFL decision.
Okay. All right, Adam. Fascinating. And the Raiders are next for the Broncos. You got the Ravens tonight against the Colts. Really quick, are the Buffalo Bills the best team in the NFL?
Right now they are. I mean, I don't see a team that's any better than them. I think the Chargers are playing awfully well. I think the Dallas Cowboys are playing awfully well, and Arizona's unbeaten. And on any given week, you can make the argument that one of those teams is better than the next, but certainly the way Buffalo's playing, they're steamrolling people right now. They lost opening day to Pittsburgh, and it was almost like this wake-up call. And Josh Allen, who played at Wyoming, and we saw how good he was, and he's playing so well. And you think about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, the quarterbacks they've lost to this year: Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert.
Wow.
These great young quarterbacks. And I still think Patrick Mahomes may be the best young quarterback in the league, but I think we all could agree he's got competition from all of those guys.
Great stuff, Adam. We appreciate it. We'll see you on Countdown tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Adam Schefter, our ESPN NFL insider, courtesy of Bet River Sportsbook. That game last night was, it was pretty wild.
It was.
That crazy weather.
I know. I was hanging in there for a while during that delay. I finally tapped out. I watched the show. It was like,
what'd you step into?
Oh, I'm Walking Dead. Which thank goodness that's done now. But then that ended at 10:15 or something. I turned on and I still had 45 minutes of football to watch. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's what a matchup. The Chiefs are beatable. Ah, man.
Well, they're only beatable if you can score 27 points, right?
Right.
So if you can score 30 points, they're beatable. All right, they look more human than they've ever looked, but look at the teams that they're losing to.
Oh, my gosh.
And look at how they're losing.
Crazy.
Nobody's beating the Chiefs 20-16. That's not how you beat the Chiefs.
Right. They're coming. It's going to take a while. The first game against the Chiefs is December 5th, and then the Broncos end the season with them in January.
Feel a whole lot more optimistic about beating the Chiefs if our secondary was playing like the highest paid secondary in the NFL. But they're not. They're not even coming close to playing like that. Our defense is the highest paid defense also, but in particular, the secondary, that's why. I mean, it's just so out of whack. And our secondary is getting toasted. Kyle Fuller is just getting beat every single game. Justin Simmons is getting beat. So when I look at the Chiefs, I don't see a matchup there that I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is the year that we're going to beat them just because the Chiefs have lost some games. I'm like, goodness, can we score 30 points? Because I think they're going to do that to us.
There's one play in the game that apparently is driving everybody in town crazy. I mean, nuts about. We'll get to that. Plus a crying football coach. There's no crying in football, especially when you're eating a kneecap. That can't go well together. The water cooler's next.
Hey guys, Tyler Columbus here to tell you about my new friends at Assignar. Colorado contractors get paid faster and save big-time money with Assignar managing their construction operations. From instant crew and equipment scheduling to digital time tracking and forms, contractors using Assignar are averaging $30,000 per year in savings. Collect data from the field to make informed decisions from the office with the Assignar platform and mobile app. Go to keepbuilding.com to request your free demonstration of Assignar and see how much your business can save.
It's a Reaction Monday, powered by Superbook Sports. It's time to take a trip to the water cooler.
Is this good for the company?
We need to talk about your TPS reports. Did you see the memo about this?
We find it's always better to fire people on a Friday.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Here's Tyler and D-Mac.
What would you say you do here?
Are you feeling bad for the Lions at all?
I do feel a little bit bad for him, yeah. Number one, because I like Dan Campbell. Number two, because they are a competitive football team that has had opportunities to win games.
What is it with teams that are like the Lions? Like, what is it? Is it just, hey, it'll all come around, or is there just something about the way you do things that you're destined to?
It's just really, really hard to change a culture, man. When you've been in a franchise that losing is just the way things are done, it takes years to get that out. And it doesn't just take one game. It doesn't take a couple games of success. It seriously takes years, man. I played for Washington, and I know what it's like to be in a bad organization. Dude, we had years where we won like 3 games, and then we had years where we were competitive. But in the years in which we were competitive, it would still be sitting in there in the back of your mind. Even when things are going well, you're on a 2 or 3 game winning streak. In the back of your mind, you're just like, oh, when are we going to throw an interception? Oh, when are they going to score a touchdown? When's this thing going to fall apart? Because that's just the expectation of the culture. And it's so hard. You could tell that those guys, they love Dan Campbell. You could tell that they've got a lot of love for their coach, and you can tell that coach has got a love for their players. It's just, this is a hard game, man.
On the text line, in my experience, dudes that talk about eating kneecaps usually aren't the most emotionally stable. All right. Well, let's get to it. Dan Campbell.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You don't want that for them. So, but we'll be better for it. And there again, credit Minnesota, but we made the one mistake that cost us, and so ultimately, we didn't do enough to win, but I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me,
dude! I'm not gonna make fun of him at all, not even remotely. I love it,
Lord.
I absolutely love it. You can feel the passion out of that coach, and that's not a coach that is sitting there like, this is about me. That's not about him. He's feeling like that because he knows how hard it is for his players to win games and how close they've been. If I were a player on that team, I could feel my coach's passion, and there's a difference between a coach that's worried about himself and a guy that's worried about me. That dude, to me, he seems like a guy I would love to play for.
Is Dan Campbell Ted Lasso, everybody? Is he? Is that Ted Lasso right there?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Ted's very emotional.
Okay.
Very emotional. All right. Okay.
I mean, I'm telling you, dude, it's real easy to get up there when things are bad, and you just get up there and you start tossing everybody under the bus. But, man, when you get caught up in the moment and you feel the pain for your players and you just know how badly they need to taste success, I would look at that. I wouldn't look at that like, whoa, my coach is weak. I wouldn't look at it like, oh, he's so pathetic. He got up there and cried. I'd look at it like, dang, that dude's feeling what I'm feeling.
All right. As long as you think it's genuine. And you think it's genuine.
Dude, you can't fake that. You kidding me?
All right. I don't see Vic Fangio crying.
Heck no.
Did you hear Stig on the broadcast say...
I think there's a difference between player coaches, though. Player coaches, I'm not saying they're better coaches, not even remotely. Probably the best coaches I've ever had were not players, but they relate to the team in a way that non-player coaches just never could. A non-player coach couldn't fake that type of passion for the team because they've never been through it. Dude, I've cried after a football game. I've done it. Like I've had games where not just like you're not sitting there like bawling your eyes out because you personally played bad, but just because, man, it came that close and you could taste it and you knew what that moment meant and you just know it got ripped away from you. I've been there. I know what that's like. So I don't look at him like he's weak. I don't look at it like it's pathetic. I look at it like it's real.
Well, what do you think their future bodes then?
It's not looking great. I mean, I'm not sitting here telling you that the Detroit Lions are going to turn things around. No, it's hard. I do think that they could be competitive. They've been competitive. They've had an opportunity to win a handful of games this year. They should have beaten Baltimore. They could have beaten Minnesota. So, when the season's all said and done, I bet you they walk away with 4 or 5 wins.
Okay. Well, people are all mad at me now. I don't mean to make fun of Dan Campbell.
Well, I am curious. What did you hear when you heard that?
Oh, I thought it was phony.
How so?
I don't know. It's just that's the way it struck me. Maybe it was the violin. I mean,
there's no crying.
I don't know. I don't know why it struck me. It's here's what it is, I guess, and I'll be yelled at again, I guess. Everything with Dan Campbell's been kind of like over the top,
but it's been real. Like everything that he has done has been just pure passion.
Okay, I've just. Hey, you would know better than me in my covering the NFL for so long. If you don't have kind of a steady sort of gaze on the ups and downs of things, I think it's going to be pretty rough because every week is a crazy roller coaster. It's not like high school or college football. Hey, you're on a coaching a good high school team. You're going to roll most teams. Look at college. You're going to roll most teams.
It's an emotional game, though, man.
Okay.
And there are high highs and there are low lows, and you are not a human being if you don't get caught up in the emotions of this game.
I get it, but this is week, 5. It's not like it's the playoffs or it's the Super Bowl or or something else has kind of happened. I mean, and hey,
even better.
Even
better, because that means that I didn't need to have the Super Bowl on the line for me to care. I care in week 5. I care when we haven't even had a win yet. Like, I don't know, dude. I'm telling you, that just seems like a dude that I would gravitate towards.
Well, it's funny because I'm not a big fan of Vic Fangio's persona as well. I'm not, I don't know. I guess I need something sort of in the middle, I suppose. I don't know, man. When to me, like the perfect head coach, a guy like Marv Levy. I was lucky to cover Marv right out the chute, and he seemed like just intelligent, had a big concept of the game, had the right amount of enthusiasm, had the right amount of sympathy, listened to the players, treated it like a professional. I was just around this guy, Marv Levy, who just seemed to get the best out of everybody. I thought Gary Kubiak was an outstanding coach and could sort of balance all the ups and downs and operate in that direction.
Yeah.
I think VJ was lost. I thought
all that you could ask for out of a coach is consistency. And I'm not saying that, like, you can't yell at me, you can't pat me on the back, but you got to be consistent in the way that you handle the good moments and the way that you handle the bad moments. And if that means that you just need to be calm and level-headed in order for you to be consistent, then that's okay. But it's also okay to be the dog cusser when the time is appropriate, and it's okay to pat the dude on the back when the time is appropriate. But what drives you nuts as a player is a dude that's fake. So he'll get up there and I've had this too. Matter of fact, I've had this with coaches right here in Denver before. When a guy will come in a positional team meeting or just a positional meeting, and he'll pat you on the back and he'll talk to all the guys in the room, and he'll be like, "Oh man, that's just a tough play. Like, it was a tough setup. They really got us there as coaches." And then you go into the offensive meeting, and he goes up there and he tries to show off in front of everybody, and all of a sudden he's just dog cussing you in front of the entire squad. And he's like, "Well, hold on, dude. Which one is it?" When you were sitting there in the positional meeting, and I actually do think that was the way that you really felt, you understood the moment. But now you get in front of the entire squad and you're trying to show off. That's what drives you nuts about coaches.
I always thought it would be cool. There's two guys who I thought it would be really cool to play for, and you played for both of them. I always thought it'd be really cool to play for Pete Carroll and Dan Quinn. Those two guys, for whatever reason, I thought were awesome. Andy Reid, too, I thought was pretty cool. I always thought it'd be miserable playing with Bill Belichick, although some people say it's great, but to me,
very few, though. I mean, there are some guys that say it's great, but when you talk about, like, the total number of guys, it's very, very small.
Okay. Well, that makes sense to me. And then there's other guys who just seem like really nice enough guys, but you can only go so far with a nice enough guy if he doesn't know what he's doing or he can't get the most out of a situation. And just being a nice guy, I think in general, VJ fit into that. And by the way, VJ, as a DC in Arizona, is crushing it. And maybe he does get another shot. McDaniels was... I don't even know what to say. I couldn't believe he was ever considered for another head coaching job. I can't believe he will ever be considered for another head coaching job. Unless he's gone through some, just absurdly dramatic turnaround.
Someone says, so Tyler, if he's passionate, is it okay to cry on a missed fourth down or something? Men have to have control of their swings, my dude. Of course not. Of course it's not okay to cry in the middle of the game. Of course it's not okay to have a breakdown when everything's on the line. But when the game's over and you've let your guard down and you're going to be an authentic human being, okay. It absolutely is okay. Dude, I mean, honestly, I won't name names because they wouldn't want me to. But off the top of my head, I'm just going through it right now. I'm talking about all pros. I'm talking about Pro Bowlers. I could list at least 9 guys that I just mentioned in the back of my mind without even thinking that I've seen have full-on emotional breakdowns after games. 9.
Okay. I know it's a big deal. It's just, it struck me as a little unusual, and I don't know Dan Campbell that well. To me, it's a guy who's kind of... he wants to eat kneecaps. I don't think you can have an eat kneecap attitude as a head coach in the NFL. I think it's too hard. I think as a position coach, you probably could. I think that probably makes sense as a position. For example, I think it's fine that Bill Kollar relatively was yelling and screaming about wanting to stop, the Ravens from having 100 yards.
Sure.
Okay, he's coaching the defensive line. That's a big thing for them. I mean, okay, fine. He's really, really focused on that. For me, Vic Fangio getting wrapped up the same as Bill Kollar is stupid. It's just different. I went past this, but I gotta get to you about the first play of the game. Like, is that a metaphor for just seriously everything else? So, and Fangio talked about it today. We'll hear that coming up next.
It's a Reaction Monday, powered by Superbook Sports. Here's The Drive with Tyler Columbus and D-Mac on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
All right, the first play of the game, which has a lot of people consternated.
Say that again?
Consternation.
Constipated?
Maybe that's the right word.
Kind of felt that way.
Jimmy Marilad wrote an entire column about it.
Really?
He wrote an entire...
Where was he sitting?
Down? No, at DenverFan.com. He wrote an entire column about the first play of the game.
Wow.
For the Broncos, the delay of game. So here is Fangio today defending it.
Yeah, we just lost sight of the play clock there in the change of possession and got surprised by it. Shouldn't happen, but it did.
All right.
I mean, look.
What do you want to say about the first play of the game?
I don't know how to write an entire column about it. I actually will read it. I'm very curious what James had to say about it, so I will read it. I'll tell you this. It absolutely felt symbolic. It absolutely felt like this was a sign of things to come. It's absolutely inexcusable. I have no idea how it happens. I mean, these plays are pre-scripted. Your first 15 plays on almost every team, at least your first 10, are always going to be pre-scripted. You've talked about it on Saturday. Maybe they skipped it. Maybe they didn't know because they didn't have their Saturday night meetings. I don't know. Maybe that was us seeing the actual tangible results on the field. There's no excuse for it, man. You always know what your audibles are. You always know what the problems are. And especially in the first 10 plays, there are always things that a team can do to make you confused at the line of scrimmage, but you always know what your outs are. So there's just no excuse for it whatsoever. Just frustrating, mind-numbing, and absolutely, when that happened, I was like, oh, we're in for a day. We're just in for one.
Because it was a sign of bad things to come?
It's just like bad juju, man. It's just like, yeah.
I do not know it?
Yeah.
What actually happened on the play?
I didn't know for a fact that was going to lead towards a loss, but absolutely in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, is this how things are going to go? You know, I just got up to the line of scrimmage, took too long, didn't get the snap off, and unfortunately wasn't aware of where the play count was. Bad moment getting in out of the huddle. Bad moment, I don't know if the play call took too long to get it in there or what, but also just a bad part by Teddy Bridgewater of getting up there, not having an awareness of where the snap count is. You've always got a hurry situation where it's like a code word that you tell the guys like, hey, turbo, which means forget everything else. I'm abandoning the snap count. Next word, it's set hut. We're in trouble. That's what that means. We're in trouble. We got to snap the ball, right? So even as a play caller or as a quarterback, if you're at the line of scrimmage and you see that you're down to 3 seconds, you go turbo, set hut, and then the ball comes out. There's just no excuse.
Teddy? It's on Teddy then?
Yeah, I mean, I would really have to go back, and I did not. I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't go back and see how much time was left on the clock when they broke the huddle, but it felt like there was enough. Bottom line is it's unacceptable all the way around.
You know, I heard earlier today.
Did you happen to notice, by the way? Did you notice how much time was on the clock?
I did not. When I was listening earlier today to the station, you know, I heard a variety of people say, just run it. Even if it's, it's not going to work. Seriously, just run the play. If it just blows, you don't want to turn the ball over, but if it's no yards, it's no yards. We'll, get our act together. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, yeah, rather than take a delay game, of course.
Just snap it. And
of course.
Lose the play and, 2nd and 9 or whatever.
Yeah, but it shouldn't come down to that. These first 10 plays, these first 15 plays on the teams that I played for, they're pre-scripted. And, you asked me the value of the Saturday night meetings. This is the value. You get to visualize it. You understand what the play is, especially the first play. You know exactly what the first play is going to be. There's no surprise.
When do you get those then?
You get it on Saturday.
You do,
You get it on Saturday. They hand it to you. You get the first 15 on a piece of paper.
All right.
You look at it. Then the rest of that meeting, you're going over these plays, and you put it on film. You know what their defense is. You know what the problems could be. You know what you have to go to. So sometimes stuff like this will pop up where you might get caught off guard in the second half. But, in the first 15 plays, there's no excuse. Absolutely, I put it on Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay. I mean, they did have the meetings. The meetings were just here in Denver.
Yes.
They weren't in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
On the text line, kind of like Peyton Manning's Super Bowl against Seattle. It's a very famous play.
A little different. Yes, like the bad juju was different. Or the bad juju was the same. As soon as you see a play like that on the first play of the game, you're like, oh, here we go. We're in for a day.
Yeah.
But that was different. It was loud. You couldn't communicate well. And the center thought he heard Peyton say set hut, and he didn't.
All right,
so he snapped the ball.
Let me ask you a tricky question. In the Seattle game, I know that I know that one. They were surprised by the crowd noise, and Peyton wanted to change the play. Teddy didn't see something. I don't know. Something happened. I mean, right? Something screwed up. I know it looks bad. I know it looks horrible. But is the right thing to do just call a timeout?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Jacksonville. They've done that this year. They've called timeout on the very first play of the game. And I would rather do that than have a delay, sure.
Right.
I mean, it's going to look bad. We're going to make fun of you.
Right.
We're going to call you out for not being prepared. But yeah, I would rather have that than get backed up.
Yeah, and that was the situation in Seattle or the Super Bowl. I mean, it would have looked idiotic. But just call a timeout. And but Fangio's saying that Teddy just lost sight of the clock. Like he just didn't. He had no clue that there was a problem.
Hey, Teddy's done stuff that he needs to be held accountable. That's one of them, for sure. That was a bad moment. As a quarterback, it's on you to get the ball off.
All right, let's go through the coaching staff. I'm dying to know what you thought of Pat Shurmur. And there is a lot of anger out there still about Pat Shurmur. But didn't he try to do what everybody was critical about? Football at 4 is next.
Hey guys, Tyler Columbus here to tell you about my new friends at Assinar. Colorado contractors get paid faster and save big time money with Assinar managing their construction operations. From instant crew and equipment scheduling to digital time tracking and forms, contractors using Assinar are averaging $30,000 per year in savings. Collect data from the field to make informed decisions from the office with Assinar platform and mobile app. Go to keepbuilding.com to request your free demonstration of Assinar and see how much your business can save.